18%. There is an estimated 18% chance that, based on historical happenings, of course, um, yeah, this is, by the way, just. This is like sort of like inverted A game. It's just A game with some water. It's A game, but you can have water towers. Um, so there's a roughly 20% chance that their boomerang strat is going to work. And I mean, boomerang is kind of good. Ninja is definitely very good. Um, the big danger, of course, is that their attacks just gets through. All they need to do is get 13 through. The beautiful thing is, I have been in pretty much this exact same situation before and lost. And yeah. Me knowing that they're counting on my overconfidence, pretty much, because what else do they got? This is ultimate power. So they got this here, which this is good range placement, and then they also are covering their bases by having bad range placement. I don't see the benefit of having this shit over here. Maybe the boomerang for how it rotates will okay, not even that. The way it spins works perfectly to meet that oncoming. Even then, though, that would not be a significant enough difference to where that would ever be worth it. I mean, it's really just brute force thinking that they have, as far as I can tell. Um, but there's not necessarily anything wrong with that. What I have is definitely brute force thinking. I mean, my thinking is pretty much as simple as this. Um, get more money than they have, or it go two. There are two things that I want to do, and both of them I'm going to do with Cobra. Get a larger income than them, and make what they're doing more expensive than what I'm doing. And they just destroyed me with rainbows, which is really funny. It's really funny. Yeah, against extreme high time preference and extreme low time preference, high time wins every time. uh, I mean, there's an interesting psychological slash economic phenomenon with that. If I have low time preference, if I save, one day I will be rich and I can spend, right? So I think, so I've thought about it. The purest definition of addiction. It's sort of like Einstein's definition of insanity. There's not so insane instances of doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results, because sometimes you do get different results. You can really only be so against doing the same shit over and over again as a scientist, so I mean, there is accusations that he's a fraud or a plagiarist to some extent, but take things with a grain of salt. Don't take everything too literally. But anyway, it's like on that level of what I'm thinking of. For it's when the I'm gonna cry. I can't skip this map, and neither can they. This is destiny. This is redemption. This is vengeance. And things are going to be easier against a player that is... you see how they have better range placement? For the boomerang, it's perfect, actually. And they're not going to put them in weird, dumb spots. You see, because this person is better, this will be easier. So, it's interesting how deceptive numbers could be. 18% versus 33%. Never mind. Forget what I just said. They just put down... Oh, no, wait. I forgot what I was saying. Yeah, it's actually going to be way easier. So they're not sending attack. People who don't win a lot of the time are constantly sending attack. Maybe. A lot of people who win are also constantly sending attack. People who are like 60%-ish, like I am, sort of how it seems to be some of the time, at least how I lose, it feels this way. It seems like some of us, and this applies in life somewhat, some of us are fairly intelligent, but not necessarily masterminds that are inventing anything anytime soon. And we're the easiest to fool. It's called, people have talked about the midwit phenomenon. That's kind of what I'm getting at. It seems to perhaps apply in this game. Very possibly. Just a hypothesis there. But anyway, with high time versus low time, let's say I like to drink and I like to be healthy. The more I drink, the less healthy I get, but if I can be decently healthy and be drunk, I'm feeling great. So for the theory I was talking about, if I drink enough, I might stop drinking, right? But if I go long enough without drinking, I might just want to drink more. Because, haven't drank in a while. And hell, just like cashing in on a lot of the benefits you get from not drinking by drinking. Some of those benefits are like lower tolerance and whatnot. That could be a thing with substances. So with the ideology of more disguising itself as the ideology of less, that's really funny that slipped through. I got the anti-camo upgrade, and then it just slipped through. Um, yeah, that's one thing that's good about this as a tower defense game is how annoying and garbage it is. Hear me out, but the things that make it annoying and garbage make it good because it adds realism and complexity. The fact that you can miss shots, the fact that I'm trying to squeeze shit in here like this, I kind of think that this is better than it being all squares. There being some skill and difficulty and complexity to how much to cramming in as many of these as you can cram in. Yeah, so anyway, just this one more time. I swear this is the last time, and it makes it super important to do this right now. That is a perfect instance of the ideology of more disguising itself as the ideology of less as it pertains to addiction, my theory being that it simply is what addiction is. It is actually why I think democracy is so easily compared with things like alcoholism and, of course, cocaine addiction. And of course, there's a massive correlation between the two things in actuality. All of our democratically elected people and whatnot, a lot of the so-called elites, many of these folks are, of course, up to some of that kind of stuff. What do you think, everybody's sober on Epstein's Island? Hell no, they're totally pounding cocaine. So how it is specifically, how it fits with this, though, to not just be throwing words around. People who argue for democracy, they'll argue like they're arguing for something like anarchism a little bit. There'll be people, they'll act like, they'll speak as if giving more people some kind of political power makes there be less power in the system and less power with those who hold power ultimately. Meanwhile, everything about the system encourages high time preference. So high time preference structurally with the leaders in how they cycle them out, as Hoppe talks about in Democracy, the God That Failed. But and talked about other places. Perhaps I don't think it's the first place that argument has been put forth. It just sort of makes sense. A king, if I were a king and I were passing down some shit, passing down the whole thing to my son, who will be king, who will pass it down to his son, who will be king. Yeah, I'm gonna want to have things be good. Like, hopefully, like, so if I'm king, after I'm dead, perhaps even if my son assassinated me to become king, it is not necessarily preferable that they get assassinated because everything falls into ruins, and then that empire or that whole system, you have to build a whole new system after that. You know, some of the incentives there. Meanwhile, if I'm in for 4 years and out, You know, if I'm, let's say I'm a president and I'm there 8 years, you know, for 4 years, I'm going to be running my campaign for re-election. And after that, maybe I'm not even going to continue to live in America, and I'm going to go somewhere else. And just party in the Bahamas. America, not America, gonna be enjoying the beaches and not giving a shit. Now, of course, the same kind of shit can go the other way, where people arguing for monarchy might just be guilty of the same thing with arguing for democracy over monarchy, at least in some instances. But kind of there you have it. It's a system where, I mean, motherfuckers will be like, just this one more vote to save the whole system. It's not like a last dose before you quit kind of thing, but it is like, this time it's really going to be worth it, I promise. And this time I really can't go without it. With voting. Yeah, because the last couple of elections, I mean, it was like, you can't let Trump win. We gotta save our democracy by not letting a participant in the democracy win. And, you know, like, if you want to save the sanctity and honor of the game such that you do not allow cheating, if you view there to have been cheating or attempts at cheating, you gotta be willing to stop playing the game. Like, let's say I played chess against a pigeon 5 times in a row, and I lost 5 times officially on the scoreboard, and it's actually in a tournament. And in the tournament, they continue to let the pigeon play, and when it knocks over all the pieces and shits everywhere, they say the pigeon won. It's like, if you continue to participate in that chess tournament, you are more guilty of cheating in chess than the pigeon is. I mean, really and truly, saying that the whole system was good and noble until some candidate showed up, I mean, it's just fucking stupid. It's like, I used to be a fan of football. Then I saw, was it the quarterback of the Seahawks, or not the Seahawks, the Chiefs? Yeah, Patrick Mahomes saying that everything, that would be like saying Patrick Mahomes ruined football, to say that Trump destroyed the whole system there. But then again, I'm gonna very often be a victim blamer in how I talk about things, and I'm an anarchist, so there's not going to be a condition where I'm going to say a different thing, likely. You shouldn't discount people for having a so-called bias or whatever, because, people can just be right. People have a tended, so people prefer to not touch a hot stove. People have a general anti-pain bias. This is not necessarily an incorrect bias to have. If you have a propane bias, this means you're Hank Hill, and that's not too bad either. But anyway, there's a quote that simply says, and another quote that simply says, democracy is the idea that people deserve to get what they want and good and hard, or something like that. You can think of that as comparable with capitalism. Now, there will be a lot of energy spent on arguing in favor of capitalism. Somewhat the downside of capitalism is that if people want garbage, they will get garbage. Framing this as a downside is a tricky thing. But like sort of what you can think of here, it's not like the fact that Soviet Russia or the Soviet Union, Mao's China, Pol Pot's Cambodia, the fact that these did not have Funko Pops is not a criticism of them. In fact, if Pol Pot's Cambodia did have Funko Pops with everything else that was happening, that would make things even darker somehow. If I'm being murdered and being forced to watch my family be murdered and tortured to death, burned alive, raped, I should not also have to look at a Funko Pop in the same day as a day in which I watch a loved one die. So, the age of things we are living in, and singling out Funko Pops, it's sort of an interesting thing. It's ironic that it is materialism that would lead you to say the material conditions of a Funko Pop being a Funko Pop and whatnot, and how many of them you have and how much money it costs, saying that doesn't matter that much. Because, it's just details, right? Here's the thing, and with it being a direct criticism of even people that I know personally for having these things, I really am okay with that. It's not like I'm perfect. There's plenty of things you could say about me. I'm not out here saying I'm better than people because I don't have Funko Pops. I'm just saying my decision to not do that and have a strong preference for real art, and perhaps even real art that I make myself, whatever quality it is, it's real art. With my opinion that all the world looking all the same and looking like something on the Nintendo Wii, with me thinking that that is not the preferable state of the universe and our society, It's sort of interesting that I am simply correct about this. Uh, because in order for it to be demonstrated that this is true, there has to be evidence, right? You have to have actual, like, perhaps tests done, some kind of experiment, in order to depending on what level of evidence someone's looking for, at the very least. But yet, there just is direct evidence. Like, there's a lot of moral and spiritual bankruptcy of our time, and you think of like something like the Soviet Union and whatnot. Some of the most oppressive times in history, there was still beautiful art and culture. Even fucking Nazi Germany, like Hitler was an artist, right? As horrible and evil as Hitler is, I mean, his art, it was good, but as for how creative, it was just landscape paintings. A lot of it was just things for postcards. It was not that different from just a photograph, you could say, in a way. But um, so you think about. So there's the people who think of Trump as America's Hitler. I don't care if you want to argue with that. It's just true at this point. It's just obviously true enough, and even if it's not, it's for sake of argument. Looking at that, the comparison there, sort of the comparison is that Hitler is better. In a lot of ways, it's like in good physical shape, drew pretty pictures, wrote books that advocated for extermination of people like me specifically, which is, not great, but wrote them himself, didn't need a ghost writer. Not someone who read books. Hitler read Karl Marx and was influenced by him. Doesn't mean he was a Marxist. We're not even going to get into that. I don't give a shit. Just it's a good for instance because that's another historically important figure. Um, like people who followed Hitler and other things like that. A lot of mass murdering dictators in history. Um, a lot of them you could understand why they had some of the passion behind what they did. As like, I don't agree with this notion. I'm not the kind of person who agrees with this notion of utilitarianism that much to begin with, but you could see why they would have some kind of view there. But this, what we have in America, it's just like, it doesn't feel like any of that. It's just, yeah, what this guy's doing, this is what I would do if I were being a prick. And if I could do all of this shit, is sort of the vibe of it. It's like, let's take. Okay, so we've done enough regime change. What if we charged a foreign leader with crimes on our soil without deposing the actual regime? Let's just go and grab the guy and do that. That's how we will assert dominance for our empire. Like what Trump is doing with Maduro. That's something I could think of. So, with that compared with Julius Caesar, how things have degenerated in our age, Caligula, Nero, a few of those is what we have now. What we have now is not like a Julius Caesar. People make the crossing the Rubicon, or they say the crossing the Rubicon thing. We ain't never had no Rubicon. So I don't know what the fuck that means. Who crossed the Rubicon in America? George Washington when he crossed the Delaware River? Otherwise, I don't want to fucking hear it. After having a civil war, after everything else. Oh, it wasn't technically a civil war because it was two separate nations. I don't want to hear that nerd shit either. We're also not going there. Ah, fuck! I tried to click on this. Gimme. There we go. And they think this is going to be enough, and it might. Okay, it's not. Looks like we're good. So the way I win the second time, learning from what I learned the first time, just don't get too greedy with it. And okay, they keep selling banana towers and buying BFBs. So they're destroying their income. So all I have to do is survive this. Some fucking how. All I have to do, and I didn't do it. Yet again with low time or high time preference beating low time preference. So with high time preference, so if I do shit to plan for the future, you know, that is what that is. If I do shit simply for the present, I am perhaps planning on doing that forever. I'm going to keep breathing all the time. For as long as I can. That's a very high time preference, very low time preference kind of thing in a way. Breathing is as high time preference as it gets. But every low time preference thing you do it, you can do it because you breathe. And the fact that, yeah, an oxygen, ultimate example of some interesting, what I can think of as economics under a certain definition. Under certain definitions, biochemistry, you see that as economics with oxygen and nature. It's just the Austrian school, some others perhaps would say it's specifically the study of human action, which is purposeful action, and if a plant produces oxygen and then a microorganism breathes it in, it's not exactly the same kind of scarce. Well, no, there's scarcity, but like it's not like decision making happening there necessarily and whatnot, but just more so resource based definition of economics. More supply side, you could say. If you look at it that way, I mean, there's definitely time preference with that. A tree is lower time preference than you, but you have a chainsaw, right? And the apex predator can be the highest time preference thing. It's like you are a super not efficient use of certain kinds of resources, right? Uh, the thing at the top, like the top of the food chain, can actually be the bottom of the hierarchy if you think of the food chain as a hierarchy. People think of it a lot of the times as uh, it's the top, um, but that doesn't really make sense. It's like, so there's a million zebras, I'm one tiger. And there is tigers in Africa now because some genius was like, oh, for conservation effort, let's create an invasive species. I mean, lions and tigers are the same species. They can interbreed. There's such a thing as a liger. So fuck it. It's not really an invasive species. There was already tiger species organisms there already. Lions. There was already tigers there. They're called lions. Like, fuck it. So, anyway, there's a million zebras. There's one of me. I'm considered endangered. Oh, yeah, I'm the top of the hierarchy here. Sheer physical power alone also puts me higher in a hierarchy than humans? Well, somehow people think not. Um, so, so how is it exactly human beings are at the top? The control we have over certain things in nature and whatnot is basically what it comes down to, right? So us and a lot of eusocial insects, some ants, some bees and whatnot, are able to engage in what's called agriculture. And other forms of storing resources, but agriculture is really good specifically. Okay, so we're on top because of corn, right? So does that mean corn is beneath us? Um, a lot of we are destroying a lot of the ecosystem in order to produce, or so certain plants, we are destroying a lot of the ecosystem in ways that directly harms us in order to aid in their reproductive cycle. Almonds being like an example, their water intensive needs or whatever. They need a lot of water, a whole thing with that. Then there's like things like tobacco, plants we grow that are not even food, that are crops that like um, think of opium poppies. Now there is legitimate medicinal things like using stuff as anesthetic and painkillers. Cocaine even has fantastic medicinal qualities. It's good for heart surgery, apparently. I've heard that. I mean, you don't. I think you like don't snort it. When you do that, you apply it differently, and it's maybe more so a local anesthetic somehow. But cocaine great for heart surgery, but coca leaves and opium poppies and whatnot and other drugs, you know, and not just that, but psilocybin mushrooms, a lot of drug funguses, even those venom toads. So If I kill something, but then I keep aiding it breeding, everything dies and everything breeds, right? So if I kill something and aid in it breeding in order to get a very high time preference demand supplied for, is that me being the one who is in control of all destiny? So I have the capacity for language. So is my ability my ability to talk people into doing drugs, that makes me superior? I mean, that doesn't make sense necessarily. I mean, maybe I'm not anti-drug, but uh oh, that sort of thing has to be reckoned with. The fact that human beings distinguish themselves from other animals in large part due to the fact that they do not so useful things, that has to be accounted for in a lot of ways. Although it perhaps does make me better that I do a lot of things that are not necessarily of use directly to my survival. It means I can. There's the whole thing with that, you know. There's that with art. People talk about that with civilization. Um, there's a lot there with that, but the primary factor in all of this, I would say, is time preference. And how we look at that with democracy and a lot of the high time preference nature of our system, in such that it is and in such that it is not what you could call democratic. um I mean, this is what it looks like when low time preference wins. Me having, I mean, they have an eco tower, they have a banana tower, but I'm actually generating more money right now, and look at what I'm spending it on. More of what gets me money. Yeah, this is naked desire for power. Undisguised, the ideology of more presents itself as exactly what it is. I am not disappointed my opponent was not finished off sooner. This is a moment where I want to see how long they can keep going. Quite frankly. This is perhaps an opportunity to test things such that this could be an opportunity to improve my martial skills. And it is absolutely time to get a second chipper. Setting this to strong, setting this to first. This to strong to use it as a thing that gets rid of all the ceramics. That way they're more vulnerable. That way the rainbows inside and lower layers are much more vulnerable to the wizards. And yeah, I'm gonna be putting down. Oh, if I, all right, they just lost, but if it weren't for that, going to be able to put down a new fourth tier ability Cobra every round with the balloon adjustment as well. That is insane shit. Hell no on this map. And this is an interesting idea that competing that there's a psychological, among other things, there's perhaps a need for competing interests in nature. And also taking economics and expanding it beyond human beings, questioning a lot of things in ideological human supremacy. As for questioning practical human supremacy, fuck that. It's just the ideas part that's bad. God fucking damn it. That's not where I'm trying to put that thing. And I will throw 100 straight in the garbage. I don't care. Give me what I want. And give me exactly what I want. And stop doing this. I need to be able to put down a Cobra every round, or else there is a certain amount of money that's being thrown away. Stop doing this to me. It's doing this to me fucking on purpose, and I can prove it. You see the little white circle? That means this thing knows I'm tapping the screen. How is it possible that I'm doing this but I'm not doing it? How is it possible that the phone knows what I'm doing but the phone does not know what I'm doing? Fuck you. Anyway, said it before, said it again. It's just absolute proof that this thing is a gaslighting robot with a soul, man. It knows what it's doing. Conspiracy time. In reality, it is kind of busted. And I don't perfectly know the ins and outs of how these fucking things work exactly. I know that it's all binary. But, yeah, what if I did just get down on the fucking TI grift? Oh, I'm a targeted individual when this, that, the other thing. So I was talking to somebody in the bar, and the reason I know that they're a government plant, part of the whole targeted individual bullshit where everybody's targeting me, bro. The reason I knew that they're government plant, too much eye contact. Targeted individual. TI, be on the lookout. They're torturing me with radiation or something. I hate those fucking people. I fucking hate some of those fucking people. Some of the schizo people and some of the very related thing, where people are like, it's kind of the same shit, and there's a lot of overlap. Direct overlap in individuals where motherfuckers who are like, oh, I'm too ugly so everyone hates me, and some of these black pill incel people online who will refer to themselves as subhuman, and people who don't even get into all that mumbo jumbo, but they just have some of the same vibe and some of the same beliefs, same worldview to a degree. Oh, I don't want to go to Walmart because if I go to Walmart, people will look at me and point and laugh because I'm fat and gay. And it's like, shut the fuck up. I don't want to fucking hear it. But people are like that. Not necessarily related to anything I've been talking about, but this is just a lovely variety hour. I mean, hey, maybe I won't even post this, but I'm definitely having a good time right now. Holy shit, dude. This is a good fucking game. Sometimes when I'm playing this, I just start to like tear up and like cry a little bit where I'm like, man, I've been playing Bloons tower defense games for years. They really did put this together as an idea. I'll just like right now, like I'm getting watery eyed just thinking about like, wow, they really did make this, and I'm really doing this right now. This game's so fucking good. Especially old school a little bit. I mean, there's the other game like the specialty game modes I like, but then old school I like the most. Old school. Um, I mean, there's reasons people would want to play everything else, but you know, as that one guy said in Alien, I admire its purity. Like if I had to pick between this and playing the Mega Boost mode every time, I'd pick this. Just playing this and no other mode, like if they had only this, I would not be complaining about that too much. I just do also fucking love that Mega Boost shit and the Random Trio. Random Trio is also a, Random Trio is a game mode that needs to exist. I think there needs to be Random Trio Mega Boost though. I if there isn't that, I don't know why there isn't that. Oh my, oh wow. So this whole time, and it would have been different if I would have put down the chipper sooner and a few other things. If I would have been putting down more pressure of more balloon adjustment, that also could have made some difference actually. I was making a lot of money, and so I was using that money to continue making more money. It's sort of like the story of a billionaire. Um, this one thing. It's a very interesting story, and who told the story is also super interesting. Andrew Tate told this story, and what's really interesting is it seemed like he was maybe telling it about himself in a way, and not a positive way. Um, and there's not a lot of positive things to be said about the guy, really. But a fisherman, I might have mentioned this on this channel before, but but it takes things back to my earlier thing of the high time preference, low time preference thing. A fisherman catches some fish, feeds his family the fish, maybe catches a few more fish than they wind up eating, and they sell and trade some of the fish, get some other things to eat, so that's a balanced diet there. They do a little bit more than just like, but for the most part, they just catch fish, eat the fish. Life is good. Just a guy on his boat catching a few fish with his family, or maybe not even a boat, just by the docks, just catching a few fish. Businessman comes up to him and says, "Why don't you buy a giant fucking barge and a shitload of nets, giant fucking nets and shit? That way you can catch a bunch of fish, catch more fish, and be rich." Guy asks, what would I do that for? So you could buy an even bigger boat, buy more boats, buy even more giant fucking barges, and be even more rich and catch even more fish. And then what? And then be more rich. And then what? And then diversify and start selling knockoff Louis Vuitton bags that are made in the Philippines or something. Uh, and all this and that. And then one day you will be so rich you won't have to work. Paraphrasing, it's not the same exact wording, but you know, you get the same idea. One day you'll be so rich you don't have to work and you can just spend time with your family and be happy and do nothing. The fisherman says, well, actually, that's already how life is for me. So, thanks but no thanks, pal. You can have your giant fishing barges all you want, and I'll just be doing this and I'll be chill with this. The fact Andrew Tate is telling this story, and there's another one where he's talking about a grandma, and he's like saying, being a grandma is way cooler than all those times you spend at the club and whatnot. Nobody asks grandma about all the dudes she got with at the club because, you know, what she did to create civilization is cool as shit and accomplishes more than anyone ever will going to the club, for the most part. So, sort of thing is, having really low time preference can eventually raise your time preference. Once you have a lot, you know. But anyway, with that, it's interesting that Andrew Tate would tell those two stories as somebody who's so in the party lifestyle that he typically gets referred to as a sex trafficker. He gets referred to as a sex trafficker more often than he gets referred to as a legitimate kickboxing world champion. I think it's still recording, and it just moved the thing up. I don't know what the fuck just happened. Okay, I'm thinking of perhaps doing the same thing again. They don't have an eco tower. What they want is to get Spectre. At least that's what I would want. A lot of people do the other upgrade path. The 4th tier ability. Ugh. Bro, an infinite beam of damage. An infinite beam of damage with a fuck ton of pierce and AoE. But no, you're going for some 3rd tier. Okay, so it's alright, never mind. Your attack was sufficient. I was thinking of doing a shitload of balloon adjustment there. What you did was the same thing but faster. It's good to be fast. That's the thing with time preference, is that it's not exactly good to be slow, but it can be good to think slow. Ooh, I think I just inhaled a little bit of liquid there. It's not good. Drinking this peach juice in a can stuff. It's so fucking good, dude. Everything this person has done to me previously is actually really easy to do to me specifically on this map specifically. I'm rather nervous, and that could be a problem. It would be nice if I could actually do a fucking thing. Yeah, the phone knows that I'm touching the screen and where I'm touching the screen, but the game acts like nothing is happening. That's what it's like to talk to a Democrat. Of course, any Democrat that hears that will go, "Oh, don't you mean talking to a Trump supporter?" And it'll be like, "No, I don't mean that." Because not everything's about that. But also that too. Absolutely that too. Holy shit. Really just a Democrat smoldy, as in, not a Democrat as in a member of the Democrat Party, but a Democrat, a supporter of democracy. If you are someone who thinks the system gives you a little bit of power, you have no right to not use it, because of the impact it can have. I'm not even going to explain the issue there. I'm just going to tell you to go watch the Lord of the Rings movies or read the books. I watched the movies, and they are good. If someone goes, "Oh, but the book, blah, 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 blah," I don't care. I'm not going to have that argument. And I'm not going to talk much about something I didn't read. You know what? I'm not going to be read a book I didn't read guy. Nobody likes that guy. Nobody likes guy who says, read a book, read books, without naming a book. Nobody likes that guy. If you are that guy, this is your cue to stop being that guy, if there ever was one. You know, I wouldn't mind being able to actually do things. I wouldn't mind it at all. Give me fucking anything. How about we flip the screen? You're not gonna let me flip the screen either. Oh, you will let me flip the screen. Well, will you let me fucking do something here? Will you? Jesus fucking Christ! Stop it! I'm gonna fucking lose. It's not gonna be. I'm gonna quote unquote lose, but it's not gonna be actually my fault or actually a fucking defeat or victory. It's just gonna be this bullshit fucking happening. When will it fucking stop, dude? Can you fucking quit it? 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 Can you fucking stop? 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 There we go. Alright, now I just gotta, like... Okay. Give me the chipper. Give me this fucking thing. Come on! Give me a fucking break here. There. This will be my key to preventing the same thing from happening again that happened before. Is the chipper. Set to stroke. Targeting set to stroke. Give me Cobra. Give me the fucking thing. Slowing down my money generation, that absolutely does have an impact on game outcome. Okay, shit's starting to get through. So now, it is time for a BFB. I'm just straight up sending a fucking BFB. Preferably they have enough firepower to actually take it down, to crack it open into the little blue guys, with the even smaller brown guys in there. Great. I thought so, and I hoped so. Now that's 4 Moabs, which are faster than the 1 BFB, and this is how I get there. Nothing fundamentally creative, just doing the same thing to them that they did to me. Precisely the same thing. There we go. And I'm not trying to quit. I'm not accidentally hitting that button. I am using that as a reset. It's one of the ways I'm reloading the page. Not reloading the page, but doing basically that. Yeah, there will be times it won't let me press fucking anything, but it'll let me press this. I think because dragging this is more complicated. The code that goes into knowing that I'm trying to grab this and drag this, knowing that I'm doing that and not trying to tap that, and tapping this does nothing. Fuck. Maybe it knowing that tapping this does nothing, it'll see that I'm tapping and go, oh, tapping that does nothing. And just anywhere I tap, it'll go, oh yeah, tapping that. But I don't know. Because, like, with here, yeah, okay, so it being, can't even use that as an excuse, then it being more complex, because it'll just do that with this. So it knows that I'm tapping stuff. It lets me tap this, but it doesn't, it's almost like taunting me. It's like a sentient thing doing this on purpose. It's like a virus doing this. And yet the evidence points towards the screen being cracked and there being something about executing the code that I don't understand, because there's fucking always something about... Like, let's say I wrote the code myself. I still wouldn't understand it. Necessarily. You know... That is bullshit, dude. Do you see how that's just bullshit? Give me the fucking thing. Let's flip the screen. I'm flipping the screen. I'm flipping the fucking screen. Give me the fucking thing now. There we go. Okay, no seeking dart on the plane. both of these towers and both of them together can perhaps have a certain amount of weakness to regrow. And it coming out the back end is perhaps great for this. Oh. Oh. I want to do that again. Oh shit. It's not working so well anymore. That's on the black corner of the fucking screen. I'm flipping it. Flip it when I flip it. Flip the fucking screen. Flip the fucking thing. Do the fucking things when I do the fucking things. Flip the screen. 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 I have to turn it off and on again.